something.
The strength of a nation's currency is based on the strength of that nation's economy. And the American economy is by far the strongest in the world. Accordingly, I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to defend the dollar against the speculators. I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
And President Roosevelt announced on the radio that he would break the country's promise to exchange dollars for gold.
It was then that I issued the proclamation providing for the National Bank holiday. And this was the first step in the government's reconstruction of our financial and economic fabric. The second step, last Thursday, was the legislation promptly and patriotically passed by the Congress, confirming my proclamation and broadening my powers so that it became possible, in view of the requirement of time, to extend the holiday and lift the ban of that holiday gradually in the days to come. This law also gave authority to develop a program of rehabilitation.
When central banks print a lot of money to relieve a crisis, buy stocks, gold, and commodities because their value will rise and the value of paper money will fall, though similar to many times before. How do I know that? Because they always have been.
Thanks to Ray Dalio for that. Is Ripple about to bring a change to the world order? We'll find out in a moment. Take a look at this, guys. The losses of the euro against the US dollar, which increase inflationary pressure in the euro area, and the resulting performance of the gold price show this impressively, as seen as gold in euros and ECB balance sheet. And then we have this from Nathaniel C.J. Rothschild. First, inform yourself about Keynes' Bancor plan, then read this. While referring to the two links posted alongside the tweet, as we look through the first link that talks about a Bancor supranational or a global currency to be used for borderless transactions. Guys, the world is about to change forever. New updates on Ripple were leaked. Check here the WEF latest PDF, the Global Financial and Monetary System in 2030. Ripple is in there, no one else. Probably nothing, but maybe worth something. Definitely think that it's worth something. So let's find out if I'm wrong or right. For now, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on bell notifications. And of course, as always, check the description section for some useful links.
What exactly is an order, you might ask? It's a governing system for people dealing with each other. There are internal orders for governing within countries, typically laid out in constitutions. And there is a world order for governing between countries, typically laid out in treaties. Internal orders change at different times than world orders, though whether within or between countries, these orders typically change after wars. Back then, gold was the money used in transactions between countries. Paper money, like the dollar, was like checks in a checkbook in that it had no value other than it could be exchanged for gold, which was the real money. At the time, the United States was spending a lot more money than it was earning by writing a lot more of these paper money checks than it had gold in the bank to exchange for them. As people turned these checks into the bank for gold money, the amount of gold in the U.S. started to dwindle. It soon became obvious that the U.S. couldn't keep its promises for all the existing paper money, so people holding dollars rushed to exchange them before the gold ran out. Recognizing that the U.S. was going to run out of real money, on Sunday evening, August 15th,
So the world today needs, as much as it did back in the day during the early 18th century, a massive international investment program. Because back then, the entire world order needed restructuring after a fierce war. And if we fast forward to this present day and age, the planet is crying out for a green transition that'll cost at least $8 trillion annually. Based on historical facts, fiat currencies fail 100% of the time. At this point, the world's governments and central banks always return to the gold-backed standard. However, this time, it'll be a digital commodity, a digital asset that'll be pegged to the value of gold. According to experts, following the impromptu resignation of the former president of the World Bank, Jim Yong Kim, a while back, one thing was most certainly clear. The World Bank is on the brink, and the big question is, where will all the money come from? Definitely not from the stressed budget of the states.
Is one of the features of this the fact that Ripple is going out marketing this to banks and central banks? So, there's nobody marketing Bitcoin, for example. There's nobody. But within this, you've got somebody who's going out speaking to the financial institutions saying, listen, we've got a solution. Because that helps, therefore, enterprise sales. You get more people onto the network in large chunks as opposed to relying on individuals.
We are advocating to think about this world of digital money as a global public good. And in a recent discussion in Zurich, where we both were, what we advocated for is to have a public platform. So when protocols are agreed, this public platform can connect different CBDCs. There can be interoperability, the same way you would transfer euros from one country to another, you do it using CBDCs.
We think it's coming. So as a result, we said, okay, well, let's at least get ready to set up the stage. And in doing so, we're working with a number of different partners, with Ripple, TBS, different companies around the world, to say, well, how can you help this whole transaction go from front to back? We've a number of different partners, with Ripple, TBS, different companies around the world, to say, well, how can you help this whole transaction go from front to back?
Well, what other currency best satisfies all the earlier mentioned needs other than the Ripple coin? Listen to this, guys.
The XRP ledger uses something called consensus algorithm. And so all of the XRP ever created is 100 billion units. Ripple owns a lot. And so that's on kind of our treasury, and we can control how we sell it to customers. But there's no more XRP that can be created.
So looking at this tweet from Ian Binns on Twitter, it turns out that the supranational currency earlier proposed by John Maynard Keynes and E.F. Schumacher in the 1940s has now evolved into what we know as XRP. That particular cryptocurrency that the entire world has been looking down upon given its insignificant pump in price since its debut. But remember, these markets are moved by sentiments. Also pertinent to remember is that the crypto had always and will always tend towards the direction nobody's looking at. Is XRP digital gold? Well, I don't know. These aren't my words, but that of this documentation from the World Bank. And with the emergence of the Rothschild family into the scene, literally buy in large chunks into the parent company of XRP, need I remind you guys of the growth potential of the XRP coin and Ripple. So guys, imagine what happens when this extraordinarily powerful family fully rolls out its game plan. What do you think would be the value of XRP? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Is XRP the currency that introduces the transition into the new era we've all been waiting for? Word on the street is the reset is just around the corner, the start of a new cycle. My best advice? Accumulate as much as you can and wait. Because never in the history of the world has an opportunity like this been shown to us common folk. Lives will be changed overnight. Let's take a quick look at this one from LeoCast95. Among them is one of the riddles that decided to share the secrets of the family plan some years ago. The Rothschild family has some of their holdings in SBI. SBI holds an 8.7% stake in Ripple XRP. XRP is more than you can imagine. Guys, the elites and the bigwigs, they know this. So they don't want you to buy in, nor do they want you to keep holding on to these coins. Hence, they stage a massive sellout market sentiment, spreading across fear, uncertainty, and doubt, so that they can buy into this class, buying out these coins from unsuspecting hodlers at its cheapest, and then instigate the fear of missing out. But we know better this time. So first, the Rothschild family purchases a significant stake in SBI holdings. This PDF from the Edmund de Rothschild Fund's annual report and audited financial statements. This report, published in March of 2018, indicated that Edmund de Rothschild, an arm of business controlled by the extensive Rothschild family, is a parent company to SBI Group. And down below, under the Key Contributors section, this document mentions Ripple alongside the details of its partnership with the group. Now, to buttress that, the same SBI Group, SBI Holdings, is the most significant external shareholder in Ripple Labs, with an 8.7% stake in the Decacorn firm, which allows Ripple to own substantial investment, up to more than a third of the entire stakes in MoneyTap, one of SBI Group's subsidiary companies. As it says here on this document with the title Notice of Completion of Investment in MoneyTap Co. Limited by Ripple, further down the piece it reads, "We have announced that Ripple will participate in the investment, but we're pleased to inform you that the procedure has been completed. With this investment by Ripple, the company will become the largest external shareholder of MoneyTap, with an ownership ratio of 33%, and MoneyTap will accept 2 officers from Ripple." And that was posted on SBI Holdings' official website. However, one thing that struck my attention was the last sentence. MoneyTap will accept 2 officers from Ripple. So, if MoneyTap accepts 2 officers from the Ripple team, given Ripple is the company's largest external shareholder, this means, should Ripple also deem it a courtesy to do the same and allow SBI Holdings to produce an officer or 2, given SBI is Ripple's largest shareholder, does this all finally relay control back to the Rothschild family, who own a significant stake in SBI Group? With that, you can see that the partnership between these 2 corporations is even more intertwined than we know. And with the Rothschild family being at the helm of affairs, I can't wait to see what they make of XRP in the next couple of years.
And President Roosevelt announced on the radio that he would break the country's promise to exchange dollars for gold.
It was then that I issued the proclamation providing for the national bank holiday. And this was the first step in the government's reconstruction of our financial and economic fabric. The second step, last Thursday, was the legislation promptly and patriotically passed by the Congress, confirming my proclamation and broadening my powers so that it became possible, in view of the requirement of time, to extend the holiday and lift the ban of that holiday gradually in the days to come. This law also gave authority to develop a program of rehabilitation.
And that's all I got for you today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video.